Now for the debut of More Money with Matt Moore and Jay Money. Very excited for this. I want to dive into this trade a little deeper and what it means for both teams. Matt, we're going to start with you. How about the outlook for the Clippers side of things?
Yeah, I'm going to upgrade the Clippers by a half point in power ratings. And look, talking to NBA executives, there's kind of a disagreement on exactly is James Harden still all that impactful? And some would say, look, he led the league in assists last season and shot 39% from three. Others would say, yeah, but he's always been able to get numbers. Can he really help you win in the playoffs? But this, that they need regular season performance and they need redundancy a little bit in case they are going to be missing guys, even though they've said they want to take the regular season a bit more seriously. I do kind of wonder, Kawhi Leonard's had a hard time getting through the regular season healthy, and it's hard for him to kind of play at a high level consistently throughout the regular season, but in the playoffs, he's a beast as long as he's not having knee surgery. Harden is a great innings eater. He gets through the regular season in great fashion, but he struggles in the playoffs. So I kind of wonder if Harden can carry him in the regular season and then Kawhi can carry him in the playoffs. Maybe that can balance out a little bit. I think this is a lot for them to add. It's going to be an interesting dynamic in terms of another ball dominant guy. Harden's shown he can sacrifice a little bit next to CP3. Like he's already proven that in the past, so that's a little bit optimistic. Love the addition of PJ Tucker in this deal, adds small ball versatility, and as Maria noted when we were doing our pre-show meet, he's a dog, and so that helps a lot with I think what the Clippers actually need, which is a high level competitor. The other thing to keep in mind here, they only really have 4 non-shooters right now in the rotation: Zubac, Russ, Plumlee, and that's about it. And then, maybe Amir Coffey, depending on the night that he's available. They gave up some depth here, but I think this is a pretty balanced team now. I'm going to upgrade them about half a point. We'll see how they do. The big question, of course, is going to be, can they stay healthy? And, will Harden ask to be traded again in the next 3 months?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Kawhi, Paul George, Russ Westbrook, and James Harden are all on the same team. Jay, does this, in your mind, put the Clippers in championship contention?
If they can stay healthy, I definitely think that it does. And one more thing, if James Harden can play the point guard first type of role, being a pass first point guard, it can really elevate this team because that's really what they were missing. Obviously, Russell Westbrook is not a starting point guard. It's definitely not a pass first type of point guard. So if Harden can come in and kind of did what he did in Philly last year, which is make some threes, shoot above 35% from three, and be able to rack up 10, 11, 12 assists a night, I definitely think they have a high ceiling this year.
Not only what James was able to do with Philly and with Houston, as Matt noted, but people forget, because people want to forget, with the Nets too. He took on more of that point guard distribution role, and it was effective for them. But on the other side, Jay, what does this deal do for the Sixers besides separating Harden from his now nemesis, Daryl Morey?
Yeah, so the Sixers hadn't looked too bad to start this season, and then they added even more depth. I know that they lost PJ Tucker, but you added some other guys that can actually give you around 10 points a game, and guys like Nicholas Batum, maybe even Robert Covington, and even KJ Martin as well, Marcus Morris as well. So it gave them some added depth, but it also gave them a lot of pieces to throw with some trades. And I'm hearing that they're looking at to get like a Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan. So this opens up for them to be able to make a trade here, and it also gives them more immediate depth right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It did hurt, I think, a little bit to see PJ Tucker going in that trade because I do think he does things that might not show up on the stat sheet. Matt, where do you see the Sixers going from here?
So I think that they've added all these contracts of role players. It's notable that every player they added, KJ Martin, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, they're all expiring contracts. Those are sometimes harder to offload to teams that are looking to rebuild. Like if you're trying to get a star and that team's looking to rebuild, it can be a little bit tougher because teams actually want some stuff on the books. So they're not trying to reach the floor in free agency and overpaying for a guy. But it does mean that they can offer them to maybe a team that's transitioning to that, maybe like a Chicago Bulls. There's already been reports that Zach LaVine is involved in at least the Sixers wish list for what they want to go after. OG Anunoby is another name that's been listed. I've heard Pascal Siakam is another name to keep an eye on. The other thing is there's probably going to be more names that pop up before the trade deadline, whether just given the nature of the NBA. And the Sixers will be in a good position to move in that direction. But I will say that around the league, the bigger question everyone kind of has is, how does Joel Embiid feel about this? The vibes in the Sixers have been great to start the season. They've been played really great. Tyrese Maxey is making a huge leap. He's the favorite to win Most Improved Player, and they've played really well to start the season. But if things start to go badly, is Embiid going to look at what they got in that return, how everything has gotten, and start to get a little itchy? And you've got New York and Miami both anxiously waiting for the first sign that Joel Embiid wants out. And if you're rolling your eyes and saying,
like I
can't
am,
believe we're going to
let's be
have
honest,
another NBA trade drama, the answer is yes. Yes, we will. Until the end of time, we will always have another NBA star trade drama.
I'm just rolling my eyes at the Knicks part of it because they inevitably always get mentioned, and I see these scenarios of like Embiid for like 17 Knicks players, and I'm like, why? Like, want no part of it. That's just me.
I will tell you, they're considered to be they are considered to have the best package of assets of anybody. That's not just from the Knicks. That's from actual NBA people. They can really consider that the Knicks, RJ Barrett, the picks package, the expiring contracts, they have a lot they can throw into a package. I think that's why it's not a great package, maybe, but it's got a lot of stuff in it. And that's why this might be different for them this time.
I'm not knocking the package. I fear for the Knicks. I'll just say that. But the NBA continues to keep us on our toes. Let's move on to tonight's action. Jay, why don't we get your pick?
So the Timberwolves plus a 2.5, and also have a little sprinkle on the money line as well here, Maria.
Okay, cool. What's more of your handicap for that and thinking behind that pick?
Yeah, so I mean, I love the Wolves in this spot. Obviously, this is a major game for this season. Now they're coming off a game where they had a huge letdown spot, right? They were up by 20 points in that game versus the Atlanta Hawks. At one point, they were outscored 65-25 and went up from being up by 20 to being down by 20 points as well. So this is a huge bounce back spot. Obviously, they have revenge on their minds as well after getting kicked out of the playoffs by the Denver Nuggets as well. And they were actually one of the teams that were able to handle the Nuggets a loss in their playoff run there. So I think I like the matchup for the Wolves with the two big lineup. I think they have key defensive pieces. And last point, they do have Jalen McDaniels and Naz Reid back this year. This is a really deep team. It's a really big game for them at the house. I think they hand the Denver Nuggets their first loss of the season tonight.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a sneaky good game, and how convenient. We got Matt Moore and our friend Brendan Glasheen on tonight's NBA Bet Stream. This is the game at 8 Eastern, Nuggets T-Wolves. You can watch along with them on the NBA app and League Pass. Very exciting. That being said, Matt, what's your pick for tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go the Pacers plus 11.5 versus the Celtics. Celtics is a double-digit favorite early in the season, last 3 seasons. Only 49% ATS. Not enough for me to really be compelled to bet against them, but it's also not a warning sign. Pacers, I think, are underrated in the market. They've outperformed expectations, so I think the power rating on them is a little bit off. Boston's shown a few cracks around the edges, and this Pacers team's coming off what's a pretty bad loss to the Chicago Bulls. I like them to get this one, or at least be able to hang with it. It's 11.5. That's a big number for early season versus the Pacers, who I consider to be a potential playoff team. So I'll grab the 11.5 with the Indiana Pacers. One note, do wait until tip off. Make sure that Tyrese Halliburton, who's questionable with illness, make sure that he's available for this game before you get your bet in.
Who doesn't want more money? Matt Moore, J Money. This was fun as anything. Can't wait to do this again. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you.